people! My name is Malvika and I'm the creator behind Style by Malvika, and I have tons of tips and tricks on how you can use your video footage for aesthetic Instagram stories. And we'll be using the KineMaster app to do this. First, I'll show you how to trim down your footage into bite-sized pieces suitable for Instagram stories, and then we'll get into the aesthetics of things. So let's open up the app and get right to it. Once you're in the KineMaster app, click the plus icon to create a new project. The aspect ratio we will be working with today is 9:16. Next, you'll see a little folder icon in the upper right corner labeled Media. Click on that and select your clip from the camera roll. The clip I've selected is approximately 1 minute, which means we could potentially have up to 4 story frames. Before deciding, however, we need to cut out irrelevant footage. The opening few seconds are the most important. This is when the viewer decides whether they're going to be watching your stories or exiting. We need to cut out the portion where you're setting up and or getting situated. To cut the first few seconds, click on the clip and make sure to select it in yellow. Scroll to when the desirable action starts to occur. Then, click Trim/Split and trim to left of playhead. To cut the last few seconds, make sure the clip is still highlighted in yellow, drag the playhead to where the desired action stops occurring, and click Trim to right of playhead. The best Instagram stories show a lot of behind the scenes. That's what keeps viewers interested. They want to see your in-between moments, potential mess-up moments, and more. That's why we'll be keeping the rest of the footage intact. Now we are ready to turn this one clip into the bite-sized frames required for stories. Before that, let's do one thing for aesthetic purposes. Select the entire clip and click Vignette. It's a slight difference, but one that pulls the focus to your face and the action. On to the trimming now. Remember, one story frame can be 15 seconds, so we're going to scroll to the 15-second mark first and click Split at Playhead. Do this again at the 30-second mark and the 45-second mark. Now, you'll have 4 portions and each will be a story frame. We're ready to make things aesthetic with text now. I'm a fan of keeping my skin as real, natural, and relatable as possible, so we won't be using any kind of face-altering filters. We will, however, be using text in a very aesthetic way to keep viewers really engaged. It'll also help grab attention. Before you start, ask yourself, 1. What does my brand represent? How can I tell a mini story that aligns with my values? 2. What are some topics my audience likes to hear about that relates with my footage? Personally, I know my brand revolves a lot around empowering women, especially those of a similar background to myself, to embrace fashion and beauty as creative outlets so they can be confident and reach their biggest goals and dreams. They also like to learn about how I just sometimes like to get ready for myself sometimes. The first story then will introduce that in very simple yet aesthetic text. You want to keep text short and easy to digest in each frame. Click on the first clip of 15 seconds. I'm going into basic title effects and clicking on the slide across effect. I will type in the necessary introduction sentence to the story I'm telling, but split the sentence into 2 lines. The first line will read, "Why curling hair?" and the second line will read, "Is my mood booster." Now it's time to choose the right font for both. To do this, I will click on the first line and click the A in a circle. Then click System and choose either one of your brand fonts, or a font that is more standard. I will explain why we start with a standard font soon. I'll be choosing Baskerville. Now we can click the check. We will repeat the same process for the second line, but this time, to make it more visually appealing, we will choose a different font. One that is fancy, perhaps a cursive font. I'm a fan of Snell Roundhand. I'm going to have the font on screen for just the first few seconds of the story frame. And to do this, I'll need to make sure the clip is highlighted in yellow by clicking on it, and press and drag on the 3 vertical dots at the end of the clip to approximately the 5-second mark. When you're done, click the check in the upper right-hand corner. There will be approximately 10 seconds of footage in that story frame without text, but it keeps the viewer waiting and watching until the next one to see the next part of your storytelling. Either that, or they can just tap on the next story frame on Instagram. For the second story, I'm going to make the text effect a little different. I don't want the same effect, as that would be too repetitive. Instead, click on the clip, hit Clip Graphics, and hit More Title Effects. I'm going to choose Center Low for just a little bit of consistency from the previous 15-second frame. You don't want the viewer to have to move their eyes too much to read your text, otherwise they can get frustrated and exit your stories. Once I choose that, I'll hit the box that says Title Text and type in the next sentence of my story. I'll then choose the font by clicking the A in the circle and use the same simple font I did in the earlier frame, Baskerville. Click the check twice, and again, I'm going to trim the amount of time the text is on screen. This time we'll make it 7 seconds since it's a longer sentence. This would mean you drag to the 22-second mark. Hit the check button when you're done. Play it back if you need to by clicking the play button on the right-hand side. We will repeat the same process for the third and fourth frames. I will simply click each clip, go to Clip Graphics, choose More Title Effects, and use Center Low along with the same font. We'll also adjust the length of time the text is on screen, depending on how long each sentence is. Just remember, the concluding or fourth sentence should leave the viewer with a concluding thought or key takeaway. Now, to create a little more visual appeal, we will use the pan and zoom tool on each clip with the exception of the first one. Click on the second clip and click pan and zoom. Leave the start position as is, but click end position and use 2 fingers to zoom the screen however you would like. When you are done, click the check in the upper right corner. Click on the third clip now and click pan and zoom. This time, I want to start close and end far. Click start position, zoom in, and then click end position and zoom in, but a little less. For the last clip, we're going to do something a little bit different. I want to end on a half face, which is a huge aesthetic at the moment. Click on the clip, hit pan and zoom and adjust until the left edge of the screen is down the center of your nose. Click the check when you're done. Now, you're ready to play everything back. Finally, to export the video, tap the export and share icon in the upper right corner and choose the resolution of your choice. Then the frame rate and then the quality using the slider. Then hit export. Your minimal aesthetic Instagram stories are ready to go. Be sure to hit subscribe if you like this video. You'll get tons more KineMaster tips and tricks. Don't forget, you'll also get to see lots more KineMaster creations on their Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and community site. All right, I'll see you guys soon.